This video will show you 3 ways to have a quantum leap with your manifestation in order to create what you want more quickly than ever. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you those 3 things you can do, the realizations and actionable steps that you can take in order to create what you want more quickly than ever. Now, I'm going to be mixing in some of the information that I've been sharing in prior videos on quantum manifestation in general, which really just brings in these ideas of understanding quantum physics, some of the fundamental principles that when we start to apply can change absolutely everything. Now, a lot of what they teach in the law of attraction is understanding the mindset, understanding how to think about what you want to create in your life, which can be a powerful part of it. However, there's a higher level paradigm that we can begin to connect to with a couple realizations, and one of those realizations, and the first one, has to do with realizing that what you want to experience exists right now in the present moment. Now, this is what quantum physics shows us. Quantum physics shows us that everything exists here and now. So, what this means is that even though we may not be perceiving of certain things in our life, whatever we want to create, whatever we can imagine in our life, it exists in some form because all parallel realities that we can imagine exist. So, what this means then is that as we start to more so embody the characteristics of that version of us, we start to more so connect to that. So, what we can do is we can start to realize it's not so much that we create our own reality, so much as it is that that already exists, so all we have to do is choose it from what is called a space of variations. Choose it from an infinite number of parallel realities which exist. So this is powerful. This is something that I've become to realize, because many times what we do, and what I did, is I would put my goals on a pedestal. I would put my goals in thinking that it takes so much effort in order for me to get where I want to be, and I would then almost put it in my mind and make it a lot more complex than it has to be. When instead, what you can learn to do is to go straight to that version of you, imagine it, imagine how you would feel, how you would act, what you'd be thinking about, and just simply start to live from the end. You know, even if we study like personal development, like Tony Robbins, for example, a lot of what he teaches has to do with having a clear outcome, an outcome of what you want to experience. And in metaphysics, you can think of this as having that parallel reality shift and slide into your perception. So it's not so much that we need to try to create anything, it's more so we need to work on resonating with what we want to experience, because when we do that, we are able to make the invisible visible. We are able to make it visible because we resonate with it. So in reality, manifestation isn't so much about bringing the stuff we're not experiencing into the material so that we can see it. It's more so about resonating with it so that we make what's currently invisible visible through resonance. So this can help you to create a quantum leap in what you create in your life, because you start to live from that end space and you let go a lot of the resistance you may be feeling, a lot of the how you think how everything needs to happen. You can let that go and things can happen much sooner, much quicker, if you simply act as if and you assume that that is who you are. Now there's another part of this though that I want to describe. That has to do with holding the frame. This is something that I've talked about a lot, and simply because holding the frame is like one of the most powerful things that I think we can do. Now normally what happens is we start to do certain goals. We start to have certain things that we work towards, but then what happens is we give up if we don't see immediate results. You know, I was talking to a buddy about this the other day. There's this old meme that I've seen. Maybe I'll put it up if I can find it online. But it's this meme of this guy that is chipping away inside this dirt tunnel, and on the other side there's this huge gold reservoir, and it's like this huge long line that he's been digging. And what he does is there's 2 guys. One of them still digging like aggressively, getting towards it, and it's like this much left until he gets to the gold. And there's another guy that has the thing over his back and he's just walking away. So this has to do with holding the frame, because if you start and then you give up, you don't give yourself the momentum to actually do it. So to create a quantum leap, simply act as if, regardless of what the outer mirror reflects back to you. Because remember, life is a reflection of what you believe to be true. And there's going to be a certain momentum to the old belief system. There's going to be a certain momentum to the old way of thinking. And when you start to more so connect to how you prefer to be, and you know that that's who you prefer to be, that's why you do it, not because it's going to get you some end result, everything begins to change. So hold the frame. This is so powerful. You know, I made YouTube videos for like 3 or 4 weeks straight before anything really started to pop, getting the same amount of views and everything, but I knew if I kept with it, eventually things would pop. And about a month into it, I had a video that went viral, and I went from 3,000 subs up to 20,000 subs in 1 month because of that type of mentality of just continuing to go forward. And I think that was in like February of last year. So another part of this has to do with understanding time. So the second part of how to create a quantum leap has to do with time in general. So first off, we've established that what you want to experience already exists in a certain form, and it's about you resonating with that. The second part is realizing that of time. Now, we give ourselves these expectations, right? We say, well, when this thing happens, then this thing will happen, and then eventually I will create what I want. So we have a linear type-based thinking, and that's understandable because we have a linear time-space experience in life. However, many times the complexity of the mind and the way we view the process gets in the way of the process itself. So what we can begin to do is, as we are living from the end result, we're living as if it already exists, we can realize that what the mind can imagine, the best possible case scenario that the mind can imagine, is the floor for that of what is called our higher mind, is the floor for the actual potential to what could actually be happening. Our mind is limited in the sense that it can't imagine all the best case scenarios. It can only rearrange bricks that are already in the mind. It doesn't really create much new. It is more so inspired. That comes from more of a spiritual vibration that we're able to connect to, that inspired state of being. So what we can start to begin to realize is it's more so about understanding that it exists right now, and we can let go of the how. Let go of how things have to happen. Focus more on the why, which is always more powerful, and the what. And as you do that, you can figure out different strategies. However, don't focus as much on the how, because if you do, you may start to butcher the process. You know, there's times that we may say, oh, in order to do this, I have to do X, Y, Z, X, Y, and then it can happen. It's kind of like a video game, X, Y, Z, X, Y. Or instead, what you can do is realize, relax with the process. We relax. Now, let me explain parallel realities in a little bit of an easier sense when it comes to time. What we think of as time is actually the movement through different parallel realities. So, we see me right now putting my hand like this. Now, we have memory, so we're able to tag all of these in a sequential type order. However, the only moment that really does exist is this moment right now. If you think about it, you've never experienced the past, because when it was the past, it was this moment right now. You will never actually experience the future, because by the time that future gets here, it will be this moment right now. It's all in the mind. The mind butchers up all of these things and says, and it identifies with the past. It feels anxiety for things that have happened, then it feels anxiety for things that may or may not happen. That's a projection of thought. It's a projection of consciousness. But what we do in that moment is we put our energy and we disperse it everywhere. When instead, one of the biggest game changers in this whole manifestation process is for you to become more present to the moment. This is a game changer, because when you start to become present to the moment, you take your energy from being dispersed everywhere else and you put it in the only place, and it's not really a place, it's not even a time, it's just here and now. That's what exists. And by focusing on that, you create more of an experience of presence, which means that then things are much more malleable. Things can only change in the present moment. And if you start to just become more present to the moment, you can do that right now. Do that right now with me. Bring the awareness out of the head and into the body. As you bring the energy more so into presence, you start to increase your own energy field. Then you make your intentions much more powerful, what you focus on much more powerful, because it's coming from a point of presence rather than a point of disbursement of the future, of the past. Focus more on being here and now. Let go of the how, and this is a game changer. Trust the process. If you trust the process, things can happen much more quickly. You can create powerful quantum leaps, and you'll achieve what you want faster than ever. Now, the third way to create a quantum leap when it comes to your manifestation has to do with that of getting outside your own comfort zone. Now, this is something I learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza. Now, the idea is that on average, we think 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Of those 60 to 70,000 thoughts that we think every single day, over 90% of them are recycled from the day before. Which means that because we're thinking consistent things over and over again, because we're doing the same things over and over again, we therefore create the same results over and over again. So it's really an autopilot mind that continues to create the same thing over and over. Instead, when we get into a completely new environment, it scatters the mind into that autopilot mind, into that autopilot pattern. So, start to get outside of all of the things that you've always done. Do something you've never done before. Even small things. Maybe go to a restaurant, order something you've never had before. Little things, because think about it. You try to create something out of an autopilot mind that already knows what it's doing because it's already on repetition, which is what influences the subconscious mind, is repetition. Therefore, creating that same thing over and over again. But when you get outside of the mind, when you get into a completely new experience, you step into the unknown, and you can only create quantum leaps in the unknown because there's not that habitual autopilot mind there. So this is when you start to do completely new things. Like, one of the reasons I'm in a completely new space is because I knew it would inspire me to be different versus being in the same house I've been in for the last 2 years. Always doing the same things, similar patterns. I needed to get into a new space. That's why I came here. That's why I pushed myself to do new things. I gave my first speaking gig about a month ago. I just simply pushed. It was honestly, it's kind of a hassle to go all the way to LA, to stay there for 2 or 3 days. I had a great time, and it was real fun being able to speak in front of, a lot of the subscribers and a lot of you guys. However, I did it mainly because I was stepping outside my comfort zone. I was doing something I never did before. And now I have that reference experience. Now it can help me to create more of that quantum leap in my life. So for all of these things I'm sharing right now, one of the most powerful things that you can do is to also raise your vibrational set point. Because when you raise your vibrational set point, you start to create from a much more powerful place. You'll start to create from a place of being able to feel like you already have that which you want. When your vibration increases, so does your ability to manifest what you want. So what I've done is I've created a raise your vibration meditation that will help you to change your set point. If your set point is currently at maybe 1 out of 10, 10 feeling great, 1 feeling not so great. If you currently feel like you're at a 4 or 5, this will help you to get to a 7 or an 8. This is what changed my life the most. I had a experience in meditation when I increased my vibrational set point. From that point going forward, it changed my whole life. And that's what I wanted to do, is to put that into a free meditation that I can give away to you. That's going to be in the top of the description box below. You can download that right now. And remember that when you change your vibration, everything begins to change. What you can begin to do is start to realize that what you want to experience exists right now in the present moment. That time doesn't exist in the way that we think it does. Everything we want to exist exists here and now. We can start to choose it. That as we start to choose what we want, as we start to become present to the moment, we start to embody more of our true authentic selves. We start to create and increase our energy level. And then as we step outside of our comfort zone, we create new experiences, new reference experiences that then cause a momentum of energy in the direction of what we want to experience, and it can absolutely change everything. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you guys liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. Also, the way YouTube does things now is you actually have to hit that notification gear in order to see the daily vids. Also, I'm going to be doing more live Q&As on Instagram, so I'm going to plug my Instagram in the description box as well. And if you want to ask questions or me to answer your questions, it's more of an interactive type of thing. I'll enjoy doing that with you as well. So with that being said, peace.